One of the biggest things Dragon Ball fans have been clamoring for over the years is the official appearance of an older Gotenks. We've gotten that in the Heroes series, but we've only gotten Fat Gotenks in the Dragon Ball Superhero movie and the manga version of that arc. But what if I were to tell you that there's a good reason for a full power Gotenks never making an appearance, and it's not just because Toriyama was trolling us? Before I get into what a full power Gotenks looks like, I think it's important to cover what we know about Goten, Trunks, and their failed fusion. In the superhero arc, we see Goten and Trunks take a more active role in the story, where we get to see their daily lives in high school and their own stint as superheroes. And based on the stuff they do later on, they took this superhero thing very seriously. When Cell Max shows up, Goten and Trunks step up to fight him while Gohan and Piccolo recover their power. At this point, they've been grounded for 6 months and unable to train. You would think that they'd get immediately destroyed by Cell Max, and they do when they come at him in their base forms. But things get interesting when they go Super Saiyan. Keep in mind that Cell Max was previously reacting to, tanking hits from, and battering around the Gammas who had no reason to be holding back. Same Gammas that Piccolo estimated to be on Goku and Vegeta's level, likely from the Moro arc, as that's the last time he saw them fight, and were more than capable of throwing down with Ultimate Gohan and Piccolo. Goten and Trunks move fast enough to tag Cell Max, actually affecting him with their attacks, knocking him around, and briefly incapacitating him long enough to team up with the Gammas for a 4-person assault, which happens directly after the Gammas on their own proved mostly ineffective against Cell Max. All 4 of them then move at relative enough speeds to form a super tornado that sends Cell Max flying. Now, are Goten and Trunks actually on level with the Gammas? No. After Cell Max powers up, we see Goten and Trunks get laid out, reverting to base, while the Gammas take the hits better and keep fighting and maneuvering around him. But this does point to them reaching almost relevant levels of power while still being mere Super Saiyans, and this idea gets pushed again after the Cell Max fight concludes. Goten and Trunks, having trained a bit since, are able to pressure and keep up with Super Saiyan Gohan well enough that he eventually decides to go Ultimate to fight the 2 of them. Now, once again, Goten and Trunks aren't scaling fully to this Ultimate Gohan, Gamma, Moro Arc, Goku, and Vegeta level of power, but we now have 2 separate indicators of them either being capable of existing in the same realm as them with the Gammas, or warranting an escalation to that level of power with Gohan. Now, back to the battle against Cell Max. Goten and Trunks fuse, and 18 uses Fat Gotenks as a cannonball, launching him headfirst at Cell Max's weak point. Based on Gotenks acknowledging the play and him yelling, it's likely that he added his own power into the impact, resulting in major visible damage to Cell Max's weak point, something that Ultimate Piccolo couldn't even scratch earlier in the fight. As for Gotenks, he walks away with a bruise. Now obviously this was a 2-person attack that Gotenks only contributed to. This failed fusion doesn't scale fully to the output needed to crack Cell Max, but contributing meaningfully to an attack that Piccolo couldn't pull off and walking away from landing it with only a bruise is a feat. And I just want to remind you that this is the failed version of Gotenks that is played as a joke and can't even go Super Saiyan, and now it all comes together. We've established that Goten and Trunks are narratively shown to exist in the same breath as Super Saiyan Gohan and can contribute meaningfully alongside the Moro Arc, Goku, and Vegeta tier Gammas against a strong opponent. Fusion in Super provides a massive amplifier. Base Vegito? Beyond Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta from the Goku Black arc. Kefla with weakened components? Back up to blue level output in Jester Super Saiyan form. Gogeta? Beyond blue levels again, in his base state. Fusion is proven to be an exponential boost in power. Gotenks being made from 2 fighters who are clearly operating at levels adjacent to high tiers from past Dragon Ball Super arcs is similarly going to be exerting massive amounts of power in just his base form, likely beyond established modern Super Saiyan Blue tiers. The manga also kinda supports this idea. When Gohan goes Ultimate in their sparring match, Goten and Trunks are oddly confident that their fusion can at least fight this version of Gohan, who's trained a bit since the events of the superhero arc. We know that Goten and Trunks have successfully fused at some point between the Cell Max fight and now, as they mentioned that they've been practicing, so they should actually have a good idea of what their fusion can do. Given how fusion works in Super, Goten and Trunks' own power, Fat Gotenks' existing durability and power, and now their own confidence in taking on Gohan while fused, it's undeniable that Gotenks is a force to be reckoned with. But how far can we take him? The lowest possible interpretation is that a full power Gotenks is on level with Ultimate Gohan, and by extension would be more than capable of fighting the high tiers from the Tournament of Power and Moro arcs, if not beating a majority of them. Even if you think I'm overestimating Fusion or the boys, this is the absolute minimum the narrative supports. Goten and Trunks themselves think Fusion lets them compete with Ultimate Gohan. Fusion is a massive amp in Super, and there's a distinct lack of evidence contradicting this idea. And that's the conservative interpretation. If we assume that base Goten and Trunks are operating anywhere near the level of Goku and Vegeta's base forms from the Goku Black through Moro arcs, then their fusion starts entering some ridiculous territory. And based on how well they performed alongside the Gammas, I'd argue they're much closer to Moro arc Goku and Vegeta than the versions of them we see in the Goku Black arc. It would mean that even in base, Gotenks is more than capable of taking on fighters like Toppo, Hit, Goku Black, and even the weakened Kefla that Gohan fought in the Tournament of Power. In fact, if you buy into Super's portrayal of fusion, then things like base Vegeta vaporizing part of fused Zamasu, or base Gogeta outmaneuvering Broly before dominating as a Super Saiyan may start to look within Gotenks' reach. And that may be exactly why a successful Gotenks never appears during the Cell Max fight. Whether it was an intentional writing decision or simply the consequence of how Super scales fusion, the result is the same. He would have been way too strong. This arc was supposed to have Gohan and Piccolo as the focus and to serve as the catalyst for their own rise to the upper echelons of power in the verse. Gotenks showing up and plowing through Cell Max would have immediately killed that buildup. Gohan couldn't go Beast, and Orange Piccolo would look much less impressive by comparison. And it's not just Gotenks. Orange Piccolo is weakened for this exact same fight, exhausted and beaten up from his earlier battle with the Gammas, which is explicitly noted prior to Goten and Trunks joining the fight. Toyotaro's intent is to have Piccolo on the same level as Gohan, Vegeta, Broly, and Goku at the conclusion of this arc. So, if Piccolo goes into Cell Max already gassed, it sets the groundwork for Beast Gohan to be the one who finishes the job. Two of the manga's strongest characters silently held back by external factors in the same fight for the same reason. That's likely why the manga keeps finding excuses to avoid showing us a successful teenage Gotenks too. Because once you actually look at what he has going for him, he stops looking like a joke character and he honestly looks like one of the strongest mortals in Dragon Ball. If you liked what you saw, consider subscribing. It's free and you get to see more videos like this one when they come out. That's it for this video. Let me know if you agree in the comments, and as with everything else on my channel, this is manga only, so don't throw any movie material at me, please. It would make me sad. Please don't. But yeah, see ya, like and subscribe. Bye.